My dear friends, Gmar Simatova, a happy and healthy and sweet year, an easy and meaningful fast. I want to share with you a story that I just heard in Elul. It still resonates with me very deeply, so I want to share it with you. A businessman from New York, a religious guy, travels around the country and around the world. Whenever he is in Los Angeles, he stops to visit his cousin, who is Israeli, but now living in California, a very secular guy, a chiloni, as the phrase goes in Israel. So the businessman hasn't been to LA for a long time, year and a half. So when he lands, he heads over in his rental car to see his cousin. And what does he notice? The cousin's wearing a yarmulke, not the kind that we give out at Shiva houses that perches on the top of your head till a breeze comes up, but a yarmulke that fits. And as he's going through the house to sit out on the deck, out back, he notices a mezuzah, not just on the front door, but on every door in the house. And he says to his cousin, Dudu, what's with you? You didn't do this just for me. What happened to you? He's asking with a little bit of a smile. So Dudu gets a serious look on his face and he says, you haven't seen us in a year and a half, almost 2 years. Let me tell you what happened last year. So his cousin says, I'm sitting out front, I'm enjoying the sun one day, and I see a crowd of men walking down the street. They're heading for the beach, but these men don't look like everybody else. They're all wearing suits. Not a usual sight in Los Angeles, especially on a nice warm day in September. They pass by my house and I ask them, what's this? Where are you going? One man stops to answer. He says, today is Rosh Hashanah. It's a Jewish New Year. We're going to the ocean to say Tashlich. Can you believe it, says Dudu? That's how secular we were. We didn't even realize it was Rosh Hashanah. I told him, I know what Rosh Hashanah is, but I never heard of Tashlich. Can I come with you? The man says, sure. So I run into the house, says Dudu. I grab a kippah out of the drawer somewhere, and I go and join the crowd to the beach. At the beach, they hand me a machzor, and they ask me, can I read Hebrew or do I need English? I said, I'm Israeli. Hebrew's my first language. So I said Tashlich. Very nice. Then they asked me, did I hear shofar today? And I said, no, I didn't hear shofar today. The man says, can I blow the shofar for you? Let me blow for you. And I say, sure. And it was actually very nice. The man says, listen, he shakes my hand, gives me holiday greetings, and he says, listen, my name is Moshe Katz, and I'm the shofar blower in the shul. If you ever need anything, please feel welcome. You can always reach out to me. I say, thank you, but everything's fine. I don't think we'll need anything. The man says, fine, I understand, but please just remember, I'm the man who blows the shofar in shul. My name is Moshe Katz, and if you need anything at all, you can always reach out to me. I wished them a Chag Sameach, they wished me a Shana Tova, and I went back home. I was thinking how nice it was. I came back home, my wife asked me where I went, so I told her the whole story. And I said, this very nice man, Moshe Katz, he's the man who blows the shofar in this shul. He said, if I ever need anything, I should feel welcome to reach out to him. So I said, and I'm telling the rest of the story, but I noticed that my wife's face turned white. And all of a sudden, she starts trembling. She starts shaking. I said, what's the matter? Well, why are you shaking like this? She says, my grandfather was Moshe Katz. And he was the one who used to blow the shofar in the shul in Bialystok. She said, I think you just had a conversation with my grandfather. We have to do something. So we did. We became Baalei Tshuva. We put mezuzahs up. I got tefillin. I started putting them on. We started eating kosher. I feel satisfied. I feel complete, says Dudu, in a way that I never felt before. So we were in Israel a few months ago, and I had the opportunity to speak with one of the big rabbis of the generation. I told him my story, just like I told you just now. He listened. And at the end, I asked him, I said, why didn't Hashem send me Moshe Katz 10 years ago? So we could have figured this out 10 years before. And he answered me, probably Hashem sent you 10 Moshe Katzes. But this is the one you noticed. Because this time you did something. You took the first step. You asked, can I come along with you? You went in and you got a yarmulke. And you went for Tashlich. And you heard the shofar. Friends, the time of Yizkor is when we're calling out for remembrance. And we're being called for remembrance. We are asking Hashem to remember Yizkor Elokim, and we know there's no such thing as forgetting with regard to Hashem. We just said that in our Rosh Hashanah davening last week. Maybe we're also asking for the sensitivity and awareness to notice what's calling to us from all around us, to remember and recall what we're here for and what we can accomplish. Rav Kook explained that the Jewish people are the eternal people, which means not only do we endure all through all times. That's one part of being the eternal people. Another part is we live in all times at the same time. Yom Kippur is the special day we're able to access all that. Achaz b'shana, one day a year. And we have this unprecedented 5 tefillas. Usually we have 3, sometimes we add musaf, there's 4. Only on Yom Kippur do we have a 5th davening, a 5th Shemona Esrei, a 5th Amidah, corresponding to a level of our souls that's most intimately connected to the source of life. That part that's eternal, it's above time. That makes tshuva possible. When we access this level of being, we can go back, and with tshuva and kapara, we can turn what was a negative into a positive. We can reach across worlds, from this world into the world of truth. The tzedakah that we pledge and the Yizkor prayers we say have an effect on that world. We can reach from this life across life into the past, into the future, and have an effect. That's what this story here demonstrates. In this year, which is still a year of mourning for the family of Rabbi Sachs, and certainly for his students around the world, the thought was to include a thought of his as we make our way through the high holiday season in each of the drushes. So there was a conversation that was part of Rabbi Sachs' teachings at Yale University in Connecticut 6 years ago. You can find this entire 45-minute talk on YouTube. It's very worthwhile. Rabbi Sachs concluded with an admiration for a life suffused with meaning in his graceful words. He said that our lives are worth living. And Moshe Rabbeinu's last words to us are, choose life. Uvacharta b'chaim. And the fullest life is one that is suffused with meaning. When we see our lives as a letter in the scroll, because we know we have to be there. If one letter in a Torah scroll is missing, the whole Torah is invalid. So each of us has absolute significance. But it's not just on our own. We have relationships on a horizontal plane with other people, and on a vertical plane also with people who came before us, those who come after us. Let's just unpack these notions a little bit further and let them guide us today on the Yom HaKippurim, and no less important tomorrow as we return to the world of work and engagement and action and all the days that follow. Everyone knows that today is the holiday of forgiveness of sin. So we might expect that we should confess all the times we ate something that maybe the kosher supervision wasn't 100% reliable, or maybe that time when we, shall we say, ended Shabbos a few minutes earlier, maybe than we should have. Sins, real offenses against the Torah and God. It's not what's there. What sins are we confessing? Here's a hint. There's nothing about kosher or Shabbos in our vidui, our litany of confession that we're saying over and over throughout Yom Kippur. Take a look at vidui in the Machzor if you have it handy. At the end of each Amidah, you have this long confession. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, b'tzdi asareya, the sin we have sinned before you, God, by entrapping a neighbor. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, b'tzaras ayin, for the sin we've sinned against you by envy. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, b'ritzas raglayim lahara, for the sin of running to do evil. Al chet shechatanu lefanecha, b'rechilus, for the sin we have sinned against you by gossip. What are we confessing here? We have treated others unkindly. We've damaged our relationships with other people, and the potential for other relationships with other people founded on trust and concern and honesty. Rabbi Sachs made the point many different times in many different ways that our mission should be to move from I to we. That was the focus of the last chapter or so of his book Morality, which we just finished studying as a group a couple weeks ago. We started that book a year ago in the fall. We didn't even know Rabbi Sachs was ill. It's not just that we live in an age of iPhone, iPad, iWatch, iTunes. He says it's also the age of I want, I need, I have to have, I am. How do we balance this out? Notice that our confessions, our vidui is always in the plural. For the sin we have sinned against you, forgive us. Pardon us, grant us atonement. A verse in Isaiah that's printed in our Sidurim after Aleinu, we don't always say it, at least not out loud, has I in it 5 times. It shows us what the I is really for. Not I want, I need, I am. But it says, Anihu, I remain unchanged, I will care for you. Vadseva ani esbol, I will endure with you to old age. Ani esisi, I made you. Ani esa, I will carry you. Ani esbol v'amulet, I will abide with you, I will rescue you. That's what the I is for, to support and to nurture and to rescue others. We've closed the door on a year of pandemic anxiety and uncertainty, and we've opened a new door to a new year, 5,782. Let us keep the good things that we've learned and put the anxiety behind us. Let us in this new year find new depths of our ability to care for one another, to comfort one another, to cry with one another, support one another, to laugh together, even on Zoom, to learn, to grow, and to live, and hopefully sooner rather than later, in 3 dimensions for all of us without fear. Let us remain sensitive to the call of memory and of morality, of goodness, of godliness. Let us remain ready to reach out to one another practically and emotionally with support, with friendship, with love. Let us look back on the beginning of this new year, this high holiday season, these days of awe, with the awe that befits a new year and a new era of healthy life, happy life, and rejoicing. Gemar Chatima Tova, Shana Tova Umetuka, Chag Sameach.